Often I find that most creative entrepreneurs come to me with three challenges they're trying to overcome. One, how to find business that they want to work on. Two, build and grow a team and keep them inspired. And three, do amazing work that they're proud of. I actually have come to realize that all three of those challenges come to one thing, and it's your values. Understanding and identifying your values. And I want to do this series called The Value of Values. I'm going to tackle one of those challenges, and I'm going to tell a story of my experience in doing it. So welcome to chapter 1 of The Value of Values on this week's episode of Casual Mondays. So Casual Mondays is basically a series where every Monday I help tackle challenges that young creative entrepreneurs are overcoming from my experience and hope to help them go from either a creative on their own to building an agency or help them establish and do great work with the agency they've already built. Why could I do that? Because I've been in this industry for 20 years working with amazing brands like Nike and Adidas and Belvedere and to name a few. And, through that, I've been able to build an agency called The 88, which I sold to Havas, and then I worked at Havas for 3 years as chief creative officer. And now I'm on my own with bright colors, dealing with these same challenges every day. Literally, before I did this episode, I was dealing with it, and I'll be dealing with some of those after them. And I rise to the occasion. So let's start with the value of values, chapter 1. Finding clients you want to work with. I guess you could start with finding clients, but that's a challenge. If you're just out there blindly looking for new business, you may actually get it, but not for the business you want. And the problem with getting business what I mean by business you don't want is we get hired in this industry for the work we've done, right? There's an old saying, you're only as good as your last ad. Obviously, we're not doing ads anymore. We're doing films, content, filters, clothing. I mean, a plethora of things that we're doing nowadays, but it's the same thing. You're gonna get hired for what you do. So if you're working on a client right now and you're not liking the work you're doing, you guys aren't getting along, and you're not feeling like you're gonna be proud to post this, not only on your agency's account, but your personal account, that's the problem I'm trying to help you solve. Because if you even pull together to succeed at that job and have a happy client, which we always wanna have happy clients, and you have a piece of work that's not going to help you get that next piece of work, you're at a huge disadvantage of growing your business and keeping people that you want to keep and doing it. So first and foremost, identify your values. That exercise is fairly easy. You can type it out, but get a piece of paper and start to look at what are the moments in your career and things you've done that have made you super excited, right? So it can be the person you worked with, the brand you've worked with, or the output of it. And from that, start to build out kind of a list. And again, don't try to solve it all in one swoop. This is like kind of a loose brainstorm of like doing it. So for me, for instance, I have always been a creative collaborator. Creative collaboration has been the core of what I do from the beginning of my career. I've always had mentors, from my mentor Michael Kay early on to John McNeil. Like, collaborating with someone that inspires me is important. To the many copywriter partners I had when I was an art director, from Kristen to Griffin. Like, creative collaboration is the core to what I do. So I look back on my career and I'm like, when was I the most creative? When did I do the work that I do? When did I feel the best? When I'm creatively collaborating with people of integrity that share what I like to do. And that is the foundation for every day when I wake up. I look at who am I doing the work with? And like I said, all these things are slightly interconnected, because if the work isn't great, I'm not going to get the great people, and I'm not going to get them inspired. I'm not going to be inspired myself, and I'm not going to get more clients like that. So it's like this interwoven patchwork of all coming back to this point of value. So creative collaboration is the core to everything I do and how I start every project and understand. And that's also collaboration with the clients. And I've said this in the past, a lot of my clients are my friends because, yes, we've connected over work and done work that we're proud of because we share those values. Number 2, innovation, right? If I look back over my career over the years, like, I've always tried to push things, right? So whether it was, again, starting the 88 before there were even social media agencies, it was like working with bloggers and trying to do content with bloggers, to at Adidas doing an AR filter, to right now I'm developing an AI app and working on this sound project where we're reading people's brainwaves to create music and art. That lights me up. Like when I say those projects, I'm super, super psyched, and I want to attract more projects like that. So innovation at its core is important to me, so innovation isn't only technical. So let me get to that point. Innovation also is like brands like Noah, where they're trying to like tackle the industry in a new way, right? Like make clothing more responsibly and kind of, evolve this hype culture that we've all taken part in growing and are part of. So innovation to me is part tech, but also part like challenging the status quo and doing things differently. There is a slight rebellious spirit to it that I identify with and connect. And last but not least, values and integrity and purpose. Like what I do and who I work with when I make has to have integrity, right? It has to have some sort of purpose. And at its core, like I don't want to damage the planet. I do think about the impact and take responsibility, because I really believe I have to take responsibility for what comes out of the decisions that I'm making and the consequences of the work I do. So I don't want to damage this planet anymore and do things. So those are my core 3 principles, and they all come from, like I said, understanding work I've done, like taking inventory in your life of what are the projects you've done, what are the projects you're proud of, and like look at them, rewatch them, talk to the people you did it with, and was like, this isn't like a one and done. These values took time to come. But now that I have those values, when I'm talking to a client and I'm meeting new people and I'm talking to my friends and I'm talking to my old clients, like, what do you want to do? Like, what is Bright Colors about? Like, why are you making bright colors? Like, what's the point, Harry? And I know that like I want to creative collaborate with great people. So we've created this model that's like very versatile, where we stayed at our really senior team with like me, Lucy, Avery and John, but then we kind of, collaborate with, partners specific on the project, so I can be very agile in the team I build, right? 2, innovation, right? Find those projects that are like unique and different, like a Noah, which is a perfect example, which I'm super psyched to work on. And then last but not least, it really has to be about that integrity, right? And I've had the luxury of even working with Tommy Hilfiger and Shawn Mendes and like trying to figure out how to make clothes differently. Or when we worked on a Herman Miller project and we, promoted a chair that was of ocean-bound plastic, keeping like 5 metric tons of plastic out of the ocean every year. Finding those projects and connecting. And here's the challenge and the part that I don't want to overlook is it's hard to then have those values and stand by them, because what's going to happen along this way is you will be challenged. That client will come that's going to offer you a lot of money to do work, and that you have to make a decision. No one's the judge. Like, I'm not the judge and no one's the judge. You have to be the judge of, if I'm going to commit myself to this project, whether it's 3, 6 months, a year, for the money, and it doesn't completely align, and doesn't have to align with all your values. Let's get this straight. Usually they always go with my 2 out of 3 rule, right? Let's get like 75, I always go to 80% right. Like, let's be 80% right here. We don't have to be 100% right. But if it's not fitting in your values and you do the work, that work is going to either get you more work, and it's also going to take time away from building the work that you want to do to get more of the more, value aligned clients and work. So again, this is the start of a 3-part series. Next week, I'm going to tackle how to attract and win business that you like. Then the following week, I'll get into how to build a team and grow a team and keep them inspired. Hope this is helpful. Happy Monday, and see you next week. Peace.